This is Tisha with Firehouse Design, and we're going to do a training video for the Cincinnati Healthcare Associates website. First, what we want to do is go to the back side of the website, and I'll tell you what I'm going to do here. I'm going to log out so that you can see the login process. You want to go to your domain /WP admin. There you can see that, WP admin. So I'll go to that page. You'll see the login with the username and password. This information will be in the red sheet, the PDF that we send you with your specific username and password. Then we'll log in, and this takes you to the dashboard of WordPress. And there's several things here that just kind of keep track of some security items. There's a website and analytics that if we're able to get your Google Analytics, we can help you connect that to keep track of analytics on your site. Not a whole lot you need to do here, other than there will be updates over time. For instance, a PHP update, that sort of thing. And if you're administering your own website, there are some things that you'll have to do and a few warnings that you'll see in this space. We will make some of these updates, by the way, before we wrap things up. We're in that process right now to make final updates before we hand it over to you. Probably the most important thing to learn is this Pages tab in the navigation. And that will list all of the pages in your website. And so you can click on each of these to get into the details of the site. I'm going to type in over here in the search homepage or home, either one, and narrow that down till I get to the home page because I want to start there with edits. There we go. You can see that that's marked as the front page of the site. I'll click here to get into it. Now, just to flip back one more time to the front side of your site and kind of review, there's a large graphic at the top, then the text here, the welcome text, online banking, and then these three modules with links in them as well, 3 icons, and then one more section at the bottom. So on the back side, you'll see there are these sections and they're labeled. But when you click on this little arrow over here, it will toggle it open. So for instance, this first one is called Revolution Slider. That's the name of the tool that runs the graphic, that very first large graphic at the top. It's not sliding right now. It only has one graphic in it. It's a steady graphic right now. And this is just the code that pulls that in. There's not much you need to do with that until you're ready to change the graphic. Then coming down to the next one, we click on this, and this is the welcome text. And you can see all of that. You can make edits to that. And there's several sort of normal editing features here. This drop down shows the styles of the headings. For instance, paragraph is just regular text within the site. This would be paragraph text, you can see. But then if you want something a little bit bigger, you would use one of these headings. And these are predefined for the site in the right colors and sizes. It's just essentially heading 1 is the largest headline, and then heading 2 and 3 and so forth. And then of course there's things like bold and italics, bullets, left align, right align. You can set a link. Let's say we wanted to link out to something else. We could highlight text and paste in the URL where you wanted it to go. You could actually also click on this little gear and it will take you to a list of all the pages within the site if you wanted to choose one of those to link to. One important feature that is kind of hidden is this little toolbar toggle. If you click on that, you get more tools down here, and those are kind of hidden, so I always like to point that out. Including formats, there's a formatting for buttons. So if you wanted to add in a button down below here, it may look like text on this side, but as soon as you chose formats and buttons and chose like the dark blue button, it doesn't have a link right now, so it's not happy with me. But if you linked that and made it into a button, on the front side of the site, it would appear as a button, or some other things too, like white text. For instance, if you have a dark background, you might need white text. So there's a few additional formatting options going on. You can set your text color here as well, but we really kind of prefer that you stick with the formatting that's predefined because it will be the right colors that are part of your brand. So we can close that up. Off to the other side here is a graphic. That's the graphic that we see next to that text. And this is just so that you can kind of see how this is built. There's some settings in here that tell these pieces which side, like put one on the left, one on the right, and then in each of these boxes you've got either the text or the graphic. So here again, this is online banking. There's the graphic that's on the left, and then the text that's on the right, so that you can make changes to that. There's quite a few other settings as you dig into this, the background, the spacing, all of those things, but probably mostly you're going to be dealing in just this actual content box. And for instance, here on this section for online banking, let's review one more time, it has a blue background. And so if we go back here to the settings for this section, you can see that there's blue set for the background. And so each one of these just toggle open and closed, and you can get to each of the pieces and parts within these sections. The account boxes, for instance, you can open those up and see that there is 1, 2, 3 of those boxes, and they're actually a little custom tool that has a top half and a bottom half. So on the top half, there's a little white icon. It's white on white right now, so it's a little bit tough to see. And then there's a header, a link, which is set as a button. And then on the bottom half, there are bullet points. So if you're looking for something, you just have to dig a little bit and maybe check these tabs to find all the right locations in each one of these boxes. It represents one of those account boxes is what we're calling them. So let's go ahead and zip that back up again too. And then the last section is the life help section. If you toggle that open, there is a graphic there as well. It's white because it's on a blue background right there. You can see the background color for this section is blue. And then if we scroll down a little bit more, open this up, there's the actual text that goes with it and a button for learn more. And you can see if I highlight that button, this is the page that it's going to. It's going to the life insurance page. I could break and remove the link, or I could edit the link if I wanted to, just by highlighting that and clicking edit. Again, I could go to the gear and choose a new page. This is an apply button. This is like enter. So if I have the one I want, I can choose apply. After you make all of these changes to any page, you want to be sure to hit the update button. You can also preview it before you save it if you want. You can preview that. It'll open up a new window and show you what you edited. But then to save it, you have to hit update. Another important part to remember, we put a tool on all sites called WP Rocket. You can see it right up here at the top. It's always up here at the top if you're logged in. This is a caching tool. It helps your site load faster. The only downside to that is because it's caching images and changes and things, you sometimes have to clear the cache. So anytime you make a change, you might want to go up here to WP Rocket and choose clear and preload cache, because that will clear out everything that was saved that's making your site move really fast, and for your customers it will load super fast. But sometimes you have to clear that cache so that they see the changes. So it's important to do that occasionally too as you make edits. Back here in Pages again, I'm going to hit leave and not save because I did not make any changes that should be saved. You can see all the other pages are listed. For instance, Prize Club, I know that one needs some edits. If you click on Prize Club, this one's a very simple page. And right now it has no text in it. So you can begin typing in this space, add anything that you want, set your styles for headlines or paragraph text, and be sure to hit update over here on the side. Also, if you want to add an image to the page, you can hit add media here, and it opens up this window that either asks you to upload a file or go to the media library. And in the media library, you'll see that there are a bunch of images. I might drop even a few more in here for you, but we have a lot that we've created in your style, in your colors. So they are all set up and ready if you wanted to choose any of those images, as well as a bunch of icons. And these are, if you're using those on a dark color, obviously, most of the account boxes, info boxes are dark colors, and so you can drop in an icon on those. So there's graphics to choose from already pre-made in there that we try to kind of be helpful in supply. So you could choose a graphic and insert that into page. There's quite a few settings over here. Right now it says, hey, it's going to drop it in as full size, and we'll say okay to that, insert into the page, and that graphic fills the page. Now it's a little big, so if I choose this, I get handlebars where I can shrink that down, and then I could begin typing text. Over here, it's gonna wrap somewhat. There are a few settings that you can choose. For instance, the alignment of the photo or of the image can be left aligned, and then that allows the text to wrap around the image. So you might want to try that sometimes, where it's aligned left and text wrap around. Or certainly you can leave the image at the top and move your text down below. And all the normal formatting features are here, and just remember that toolbar is there if you need to get to any more of those tools too. And then again, as you're finished, you can hit update. One thing you'll notice here is that the width of this section is 100%. That's the default. Like right now, we don't have image to the left at 30% and text to the right at 70% of the page. Right now, it's just 100% width, and we're putting type and text in one box. We could add additional sections if we clicked here and hit a new page section. And I could choose to make this a 30% width box, and maybe even move my graphic up to that side. If I cut and paste that in there. And then down here, I might say, well, this one now I want to be the other 70%. And then my text would be off to the side. So let's just, for the sake of a sample here, fill this up with some text. And we'll go ahead and preview that so you can see what it looks like. I'm going to hit the Preview Changes button. It'll open a new window for me, and you can see that the image is 30% of the width of the page. The text is now 70%. And I've now filled in this page that's currently blank. And so that's ready to roll, and then you could go back and hit update if that's how you wanted it to look. And just remember, every once in a while, you'll want to go ahead and clear the cache just to be sure that the old images or the old page isn't saved. All right, next portion we'll cover is the menu up here at the top. There is a drop-down menu at the top. And let's just look at services for an example. Under services, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items that drop down. And to get to that, you'll want to go to Appearance and Menus. Well, let me try that one more time. Menus. There we go. So this shows you the menu structure. Which, by the way, there are 3 menus going on in this site. It should default to the main menu up here. You can choose the social menu, the footer menu, and select those as well. But here under services, you can see there's sort of these boxes, and the ones that are left aligned here, these are the main navigation items on your site. Services, rates, resources, contact, and then a phone number that is clickable. So those are the main items. Then underneath you have the sub items, and they've just been dropped in here underneath services, and those are all of those pages underneath services. all of the pages are listed over here. If you click View All, this is a listing of all pages in your site. You can check one, Add to Menu, and it will put it down here at the bottom. It does it every time. I always like to tell people it drops it at the very bottom, but this is a drag and drop menu. So I could just drag this wherever I wanted and put it up here at the top under Resources if I wanted. I could move it wherever I wanted to. And if I hit Save Menu here, that menu on the front side will be updated with a new News and Events page at the very top. You can, if you move them out off to the side, well, if it will let me do it right now, it doesn't want to do that. You can move these around. You can make main navigation items, and you can put them in different orders if you want to do that. You can move it around in that way. You can move around these sub items. You can even make a sub of a sub item. It's a little confusing. Probably don't do that unless you absolutely have to. But all of those can happen just by dragging them around and then hitting Save Menu when you're done. There's other options too, like doing a custom link where you drop in any other website URL. You can do that and give it a name and add it to your menu as well. Just remember when you're done to hit the Save Menu item at the bottom. All right, next up we're going to talk about the Revolution slider. Now that is running. I'm going to hit leave there. I'm not going to save because I didn't make any real changes. Revolution slider, there's a message here I don't have to answer, is the tool that runs on your homepage this graphic at the top. It is static right now. It is only one graphic, but I at least want to tell you how to get to that big graphic. If you go to Revolution slider, it will take you to, first of all, there's kind of some ads up here at the top. You can close out of those things, but there's one module in your site. It's on the home page, and if I click this pencil, I can get to the editing feature. Revolution slider is a pretty complex tool. It has animation in it. You can add type. There's all kinds of elements, and definitely you can add multiple slides. Right now we just have one slide. So if you go up here to the top, you can see there's just one slide, and it has a graphic in it, which if I select that, you can see it pulls up here the media library where I could select a new graphic. Same place we went to before. I can either drop one on, or upload an image, or go to the existing media library and choose something from that library if I want to. Or you can also choose the text if I select that. And over here on the right, it gives me the text box. There are lots and lots of features in here. You have to dig around a little bit. This is a very complex tool, but for instance, you can go to the style and you can change the text height, the line spacing, the letter spacing, the font, which we've used Montserrat throughout your site. So we really try to stick to Montserrat to be consistent. The text color, you can choose that. Of course, it brings up a little color picker, or you can choose what you want there. The background of this text is clear. We're just seeing the white. And there's lots and lots of other options there. And you can even add on actions to where if you wanted to maybe have a link pop up when you click the text, you could do that. And it will ask you, what do you want to do? Well, when I click it, it's a simple link, and you can put in the URL of what it should link to. Just lots of features there. If you want to add a slide, you go up here, and you can do it two different ways. You can add a slide here, and it can be a blank slide, or the thing we do quite often is to duplicate a slide, and that's this little icon right here. And when you click that, it will duplicate and make a second one of these, which you could edit if you wanted. So either way, add a new slide or duplicate an existing slide. You can also use this little eyeball tool that will turn a slide off or on. Let's say if it's not current right now, you might just want to hide it for a little while. Again, like most tools, just make sure that you go to the save feature when you get done. so that you can go ahead and you can preview it certainly if you want, and then hit save and it will apply. If something does not show up immediately, just make sure you use that the tool that we were looking at earlier that caches, so that you can undo the cache there and clear it out. To get back out of this tool, click here at the WordPress icon and you can get back to your dashboard or any of the other options that are in the navigation. That covers most of the edits that you'll want to make to this site. Certainly if you have questions, give us a call. There may be times when you get to these plugins over here, there are several plugins running on your site that they need to be updated. As I mentioned, this week we're actually doing that to your site, so you can update those plugins. If there are issues after a plugin update, you'll need to call and either talk to Firehouse or the developer, because eventually plugins do tend to cause issues if the site gets too old and the plugin's too new. So just kind of make sure after you update plugins that you check it out and make sure that the site is still running properly, everything looks good. And then there's occasionally things that need to be changed for ADA accessibility as well. Maybe not quite as big of a deal on your site, as it'll be a little more static. We have made the site ADA compliant, and as we leave sites, they're left ADA compliant. But as you make changes, those are some things that need to be kind of checked over time. Along with these other updates to keep things secure. The updates are important to make sure that the tools continue to run correctly and that the site is secure. One other item I might want to mention too here is table press. Let's go to that real quick. There are tables within this site, and this is something you probably need to change periodically. For instance, the savings rates. If you go to that, you can see there's a table here. There's two ways to get to these tables. If you're logged in on the front side of the site, you're going to see the edit bar here at the top, which no one else sees. Only admins who are logged in see this. But this also gives you an edit button. Again, you only see the edit button if you're an admin who's logged in. You can get to the table by hitting that edit button, and sometimes I think that's the most convenient way to get there. You can also get to it by going to table press and then choosing the correct table. But this opens up the table, and then it's pretty self-explanatory from there. You click into the box, you can edit these percentages or edit the text within the table or the headers. We have all the headlines set up and the features set up correctly right now, so that hopefully you're only having to really edit the content within it, or maybe occasionally insert an additional row to your column. And then after you make those changes, hit save changes and potentially WP Rocket to clear the cache. So that's another important feature to access. If you have questions, feel free to give us a call at Firehouse Design. Our contact information is on your red sheet, and good luck with your site.